On today's edition of Cosmo Times.
It is time to check out some converted space we have in our favorite cosmopolitan cities.
From an award-winning landmark conversion in New York City to Liberty the Pits in LA.
And an expo pavilion turned to Ice Town in Shanghai.
Hello, welcome to this week's Converted Space episode of Cosmo Times.
Hey Dash, what happened here?
Oh, you mean the space here? Do you like what I've done with it? Why don't you take the seat next to Dash here?
Okay.
Comfortable, huh?
Yeah, but honestly, I think the color clashes with the background and...
Yeah, but now I can do this.
Oh my, aren't you full of brilliant ideas?
Yeah, well, I am a man with many hidden talents, as you might have heard.
I'd rather hear what this week's word on the street is.
Oh, you mean if you had a chance to convert a landmark in your city, what would it be?
New York's landmarks are among the most popular and oldest in the world. I took to the streets today to find out if New Yorkers could choose to change the space of one landmark, what would they convert it to? What is your favorite landmark in New York City?
To be honest, Empire State Building.
Now, if you could change this landmark to anything, to any function that you would want, to transform it to any kind of, like your house or a coffee shop or anything, what would you change it to?
It would be great as a house, but I think I would change it to a place where people can come in and relax and get the beautiful scenery. Maybe a nice restaurant, actually. Maybe a nice place for people to go and relax and have drinks and kind of get that whole New York City skyline view.
Probably, I know, Grand Central Station.
If you could change it to any other function, what would you change it to?
A gathering spot for New Yorkers, a place where there were various ethnic restaurants from all over the world.
I like a public library.
And then if you could change its function to anything?
Wouldn't want to in the least.
I would have to say Central Park, actually, yeah.
Central Park?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't change it?
No.
I like that answer.
It's perfect the way it is. Just, there's a lot of things to do. Like even though it's winter, I'd leave it, yeah.
Times Square.
And if you could change Times Square to kind of anything, any other kind of functionality, what would you change it to?
I don't know.
I like the Central Park.
Central Park?
Yeah, it's calm and get off the streets. And
if you could change Central Park to anything other than it already is right now, would you?
No, nothing.
It's perfect as it is.
Yeah, maybe warmer today.
With everything in New York changing so often, it's no surprise that New Yorkers like the things that have been here the longest. For their favorite landmarks, certain places like Grand Central Station or Central Park really stick out. For me, my favorite place is the New York Public Library, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Hello from Melbourne, where this week we're on the banks of Melbourne's Yarra River, and we're asking people here and around this area if they could convert a city landmark like this one, Flinders Street Station, to something else, what would they convert it to?
I choose Flinders Street and I'd make it a high school.
I'm studying architecture now and... I have no idea.
Honestly, I like everything about the city, all the landmarks and everything. I reckon it's all nice.
I probably gonna convert some of RMIT building to mall shopping mall.
Oh, that's tough. I'd probably convert that big tower over there into a Pikachu, just because why not?
The ANZ Bank, the gothic looking one, it's absolutely hideous, and I would maybe make it like really postmodern and absolutely crazy, like the ARM recital hall.
I'd probably have to agree with any of the bank buildings. They're all pretty horrible, but I've got no idea what I would want to change them into though. So
a type of building or a type of, an icon or
whatever you want it to be.
Sort of thing. Oh, maybe into a eucalypt. I don't know, something.
I'd like to change some of the modern buildings to into those historicals, something like Flinders Street. So yeah, I'll more prefer those things. Yeah.
If you had the chance to convert a landmark in your city to something else, what would you choose and what would you perhaps convert it to?
Well, I'd definitely change. I live in Switzerland on the lake, so I'd have a beach at the lake so we can enjoy the lake more.
Bit of Australian lifestyle back home.
Definitely, yeah.
How about you?
Very good question. Change a landmark. Well, we like the cheese sticks here in Melbourne, and would we paint them a different colour, Lucy? Paint them blue, maybe? I think that might be what we would do.
I'll convert a tall building into a tall shopping mall.
The Melbourne University Commerce Building is pretty bad. It looks like a Dalmatian if you've seen it in Parkville. But the use of it's fine. I just think it needs like a redo.
Bit of a facelift.
Yeah, facelift.
And your take?
I don't know. I haven't paid much attention to the buildings, but I will now.
A couple of suggestions for Melbourne's iconic Flinders Street station behind me. One to see it as a swimming pool and another to see it converted to a high school. And people also want to see a little bit more public art around the city to look at.
A city is defined by its landmark. In Shanghai, it's the Oriental Pearl Tower or the historic buildings on the Bund. So our question for this week's Word on the Street is, if you were to convert any landmark, which one would it be? Let's go find out.
如果要改造一个地方的话，我觉得应该是新天地吧。然后希望它就是更有上海的特色，商业气息不要这么浓，这样。
中华明珠吧，我觉得可能会改得更现代感一些，因为我觉得那可能还是90年代地标性建筑，现在可能更像是上海的一个 icon， 但是它不是那种特别 fashion、特别摩登的那个东西了。
以前看呢，觉得会很有意思，但是现在跟其他地方的塔比起来，比如说广州塔呀，还有武汉现在在新建的那个塔，感觉有点过时了吗？
上海的地标性建筑，我觉得可以改造的呢是这个上海科技馆，因为我觉得它现在是占地还不错，但是呢，它这个我觉得没有好好利用起来，它可以这个缩小主馆的面积，旁边做一些分馆。
上海的环球金融中心吧，因为它很高，然后那个上面还有一个孔，我感觉有很土啊，那个可能把它像那个更加的中国化一些，像金毛大厦那样子。
上海中心大厦吧，我觉得上海中心大厦过于简单外表，我还是喜欢在中国比较有中国风格的那种建筑，缺了一点中国的味道。
我觉得应该是城隍庙那边吧，因为城隍庙现在有点太小了，然后人也很多，然后每次过节日的时候过去啊，那大家都挤在一块，然后挺不方便的。
陆家嘴那边，然后因为上海是一个充满历史文化的一个地方，但是它旁边太过商业化了，所以我希望能够保留一点上海本土的特色。
Well, there were definitely some creative answers. For me, if I were to convert a landmark, it would definitely be this place, Xintiandi. Maybe make it into an orphanage? This is Christine for Shanghai Word on the Street.
Looks like converting the Empire State Building into a restaurant in New York City is a fun idea.
Yeah, and most people in Shanghai like to convert Xintiandi, Shanghai Center, and Lujiazui.
And some people in Melbourne would like to convert the iconic Flinders Street station into a high school or a swimming pool.
What landmark would you convert, Ash?
What landmark would you convert, Nancy?
Well, I'd like to convert Oriental TV Tower into a spaceship museum.
Hey, that's my idea.
Oh, really?
Well, you know, great minds think alike.
Whatever you say, Dash.
Cosmo Time.
Want to find out more about today's episode?
Well, don't you move on, Marcel, because when we come back,
we will find out what award-winning landmark has been converted in New York City, and then we'll head to LA to check out La Brie Pits.
Cosmo Time. Cosmo Time.
welcome back. Hey, what happened to the sofa, Dash?
Oh, I got tired of that sofa. Now it's just an open space. You like it?
Sure, but what is this good for?
What is it good for? Huh. Everything and anything.
Okay, like what?
Well, it could be a dance floor.
Oh, okay, Nancy Quinn. Well, let's check out this week's New York City set.
Dance for me, Nancy.
Oh, it's okay.
Oh, come on, you know you want to.
What do an 1800s stable and a modern Brooklyn apartment have in common? Let's find out. When you picture a stable in Fort Greene, Brooklyn, this probably isn't the image that comes to mind. Rewind 3 centuries ago, and you'd get a more traditional view. Today, I'm meeting with Bell End's owner and co-designer Julian Richards for a deeper look into this converted space. In New York City, it's all about transforming things into something you least expect. And Julian, you did it here at Bell End. Tell me about the property.
The ability to go out into the kind of hubbub of what New York City has to offer, but to know that at the end of the day, you're coming back, you're shutting your door, and you've actually got something that feels kind of like a chapel, is extremely unusual experience, which is very peaceful, it's very church-like. It kind of provides a sanctuary.
Before Bell End was a home for Julian's families and visitors, the 2,400 square foot building was a carriage house for a nearby mansion. It housed the horses, the carriage driver, and the carriage. When Julian came across the property years later, the beauty had faded, but he was determined to bring it back.
It was being used as a garage with some kind of rusty old garage doors on it. It was all kind of garbagey, and this block was a little bit dodgy.
Due to the area's historical landmarks, Julian and his team faced many limitations while working with an existing structure. Little did they know, infusing parts of the past into the present would help them both creatively and aesthetically.
Which is like, if you've got a completely blank canvas and you can do whatever you want, it's actually kind of hard to be creative.
Seen its fair share of renovations, from carriage house to home to a destination on Airbnb. But the conversions don't stop there. Julian shows me some pieces that combine function and fashion. Well, Bell End wouldn't be complete without a bell. Can I ring this? Is this possible?
Yeah, I think it's been rung.
Ooh, okay. Just want to make sure it works.
We do that and dogs come running from around the neighborhood.
Julian, this looks like an amazing table. I can just envision all my closest friends sitting here and eating a great meal. And this table.
You could probably get them all around.
Absolutely.
Everyone.
But this table looks like it's really strong and has some history behind it.
Originally, there was a big beam that went across the top of this, but it wasn't really usable. Some parts of it were a little bit damaged. But we were like, it seemed kind of crazy because you can't get beams like that anymore because they don't cut down trees that are that long to do it. So it was sat out the back and we were like, what can we do with it? And originally we had an idea for maybe a planter around the garden and all this kind of stuff, but it kind of seemed like it would just vanish. It's cool, it's got all these like weird little dents and marks, like this piece is missing and these kind of things. It's got holes, look. So if you're not enjoying your dinner or you don't like peas,
right.
Or if you're a kid, if you're 9 years old like Dusty and she's like, fuck peas, or, no, I don't like peas. She can just take them and drop them through here.
Yep.
And then also the dog sits underneath.
Perfect.
So it's a perfect recycling process.
I love these shelves. They look great.
If you kind of get bored of the arrangement, because right now it looks kind of square, you can take some from over there and you can kind of build it up over here.
Oh.
So you kind of got little boxes and different things. It's also interesting, different people stay in the place. It's interesting to see how different people use it. We were trying to find ways that we use things that were salvaged and you were like, oh, you know what, should be that, but turn it upside down like that and stick that in it, all of a sudden it's this other thing.
Next, we make our way upstairs.
We are, you mean in terms of the original stable?
Yeah.
This here is would have been the doors of the hayloft. So that's why it's so big. So they would have pulled up outside, it would have had a kind of winch that went out of the window here and went down, and they would have put the hay in things and winched it up, and then bring the hay inside, and this central area would have been a place where you stored the hay. Like the 7-Up boxes, we did find one use for them, which is to use them as side tables. So you can turn them on their side, you can't put anything in them again because they've got the little bottle things. But they work as a little platform. Someone can put a book on there. I mean, nobody reads anymore.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they can put their
Kindle
they
there.
can put their iPod or whatever.
Yeah.
And there we go.
Wow, the tour is not complete without these amazing doors, and little do you know what incredible things are behind it.
It's so unusual in New York, you know, because people are like, what the hell's going on? Is it a gallery? Is it a whatever? But it's beautiful. You can stay outside here, and I mean, it's a little strange now because it's whatever it is, 5 degrees.
Yep.
We wouldn't usually have a moment in the middle of the winter.
Exactly, but you make special exceptions for special people.
Yeah. I have no idea how we're going to get them closed again.
It's okay. Well, thank you so much, Julian, for
You're very
showing me
welcome.
around here at Bell End. It was a real pleasure.
You're very welcome.
Reporting from New York, I'm Christy Clevens.
So, what do you think, Dash?
Well, I really like how they maintain many of the original elements of the old carriage house, yet they still manage to add a modern touch.
Right. And now what are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing? I'm converting our space.
By moving sofa back and forth?
Duh, obviously. So, what do you think?
It's very... Wait, but what does moving things back and forth have anything to do with today's topic?
It's called fast, easy, and convenient. Not that you'd know anything about the art of converting a space.
How original. Well, let's check out this week's LA City Search.
Do you want to see what was happening in this area before the Wilshire Boulevard existed? In today's Converted Space episode, we're going to take you all the way back to the Ice Age. Abracadabra.
People come here on our tours from all over the world. We can have in a group, we can have people just from the United States themselves, people from, South America, from Asia, from Africa, from really all over the world to this site that is so unique and so specific to what you're able to find here. We have our tar poles that are next to us. A lot of people just like that because it's a really good representation of if you're a large animal versus a smaller animal, how hard is it to even do attempt to maybe get out of one of these asphalt seeps that they could have gotten stuck in. The Fossil Lab is a great place because it actually gives people the chance to see our excavator, our scientists working on what they are working on.
How was this museum look like?
This museum wasn't built until 1977, and so before this Hancock Park area would have changed a lot. I mean, if you go as far back as the time of the Ice Age itself, imagine more of a place like Northern California today. Maybe a little bit more even at times like the atrium that we have outside, some of the murals around, a lot more water, foothills, mountains, but not like the Ice Age really itself that we think of with the ice and all of that. But as you fast forward through time, and people start to come and shape the modern world that we live in, especially over the past couple hundred years. I mean, this whole area would have been oil fields with drills going into the ground, trying to obtain the oil itself that was in the ground, to eventually really today, and the park that you see, it's changed a little bit over the past, almost 40 years or so since it's opened, but that's kind of an idea of how this place has changed over time.
As we can see here, these are called asphalt seeps, and as we just saw in the museum, they are still coming out, so watch out for that.
The programs, we focus a very tiny little bit on the humans that would have lived here, even though they came more after the Ice Age that we think of, which is about 10,000 to 50,000 years ago. But it's really the fossils that tell that story for us here, and whether it's the large animals themselves, the microfossils, the tiny little guys, the insects, the birds or plants that all piece everything together for us to tell that complete and unique story about La Brea a long time ago. Here, that asphalt is literally seeped into the bone, and through the porous parts of the bone, preserved it itself. And so that is actually what is preserving it and keeping it so well in the ground for us, and even once we take it out of the ground as well, minus the upkeep that they would have to do over the years and cleaning and all those types of things. Was the largest bear that's ever walked the face of the earth. And so today, polar bears are the largest bears, but they would have been outsized by these bears themselves. They are a foot taller than grizzly bears. When they stood on hind legs, they were 13 feet tall in the air. But they're rather, I think, unique to here, because bears are harder to find because they are more solitary in how they spend their time. And so we've only found in the low 30s in terms of the short-faced bears that we've ever found here. And you take, you know, dire wolves, and you're up near the 4,000 number in terms of collections and what we have of them. So I think that's an interesting, unique story here about an animal that is one of the largest for its kind to ever live.
How do you like the journey with the animals from the Ice Age? Now come back to the reality, and I will see you next week. I'm Xiaowei reporting from Los Angeles.
Time to take that break again.
But when we come back, we'll find out how an expo pavilion has been turned into an ice town.
Right here in our Shanghai City Search.
Cosmo Time. Cosmo Time.
Welcome back.
So, before the break, we visited the La Brita Pizza in LA, which has now turned into a museum. Anyway, what do you think of the space now?
Yes, Dash. Now we're sitting in red chairs instead of a white sofa or a blue sofa, or dancing in the open space.
Yeah, I know. Brilliant, right? I call it the simple touch of Dash.
Is that your catchphrase?
Yeah, and I'm thinking about starting my own space converting company.
You mean interior design company?
No, space converting.
How original. Well, let's check out this week's Shanghai City Search.
What?
Holidays are gone. Everything's so boring. What's your plan for me?
Well, I got one place. Wonderful. But it's a little bit cold. Interested?
What's that?
It's a surprise. But you gotta dress warm, all right? Let's go. Come on. Trust me. Don't give me that look. This is the place that I chose for Jane to meet, and I asked her to meet me in the middle, so let's see who gets there first.
Today, Cam decided to bring Jane to Icetown in the Expo Center. Over 3,000 square meters in area, it has everything from an ice maze, ice slides, an ice bar, and tons of fun games and activities. All the ice sculptures are made by artists from Harbin, famous for their own ice festival in the north and the oldest in China.
Can I go out of here? I don't know. It's so freezing here. Where's Camel? Well, can I go out of here? Ooh. Where's my way? Ooh. This way? Here's the way. Oh, that's the ice wall. Oh. Oh, I'm gonna become a snow one. Where is Camel? Finally, the maze is gonna be over. Oh, that's the Wonderland. Oh. He's there. Where have you been?
Whoa, huh?
Where have you been?
Come on.
I couldn't find my way.
What is this, right? I feel like
You showed you direction. That's hard.
Anyway, most of this place is not about a maze. There's plenty of other fun things to do.
Can I trust you this time?
Don't worry about it. Whoa, it's pretty high up here. What do you want to do?
Because I want to try the sliding board. See? These two.
Yeah, go right ahead. I'll meet you down there.
Are you afraid of that? Let me show you first.
should try it.
That's okay. It looks a lot of fun for you, but you know.
No, try it.
No,
try.
no,
Come
no,
on, come on. Be
no,
a
it's
man.
so
Try
high.
it. This one.
No.
This one. Try it. Come
What?
on.
Are you sure?
Sit
This looks so
down.
high
Just
up.
sit down.
What?
Sit down. Sit down, please. Okay, here we go. Camera is coming.
Oh no! No!
Ken, what's that?
Yeah, so this is something familiar. We have this in Canada. It's called snow tubing.
Snow tubing?
Yeah, it's really fun actually. I think it's better than the slide.
It's
actually.
not safe.
Don't worry about it. It's really easy. Just 2 hands in the back and then put your legs up.
So I should sit down in the middle?
Sit down in the middle.
I...
Yep.
Whew.
Put your legs up in the handle.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
You ready?
And my legs?
Yep. Lift it up.
Okay. Push me, push me,
1,
push me.
2.
What's that? I hate you, Ken. Oh, there's some stars. Ooh, that's beautiful and romantic. But when will you go back to your star?
It's been a pretty extensive day so far, and Cam and Jan are tuckered out. So it's a good time to get romantic.
I don't know how to do it. Yes.
Information. Remember to dress warm because the temperature inside is -7 degrees. But if you're still cold, you can borrow a coat at the entrance.
Well, did you have fun?
Yes, that was really fun.
I told you to trust me.
Yes, this is the first time you're being so trustworthy, Cam.
Isn't this the perfect place to spend your holiday?
Yes, I think so.
Well, I'm a little bit cold now. Let's get something hot to eat, all right?
Okay, let's go.
All right.
Cosmo Time.
Can't seem to get enough of Cosmo Times today?
Well, don't you change that channel.
Because just after the break, it's time for some creative source.
Bringing you the latest in entertainment news.
Cosmo Time. Cosmo Time.
Welcome back. So what do you think of that ice town?
Interesting, but they put in way too much work on converting that space.
But you really see the difference?
Yeah, but I should use my method.
Ah, that's just important. I mean the simple touch of that.
Well, you know, I would have been a lot more creative.
Right, and I think it is time for this week's creative source.
China's first private museum in the field of industrial design, the Yang Design Museum is set in the posh creative space Bund 1919 in Shanghai's Baoshan district. Renowned industrial designer Jamie Young Mingjie, who's also the founder of the museum, gave the former cotton mill a contemporary makeover. The refurbished building has a steel staggered floor structure, painted in pure white set against the original concrete architectural framework. The sharp contrast of color and material generates a striking sense of minimalism.
这边它原来是一个发电站，一个老的发电站改造而来的，所以说我们现在所看到的这片地方，它其实是一个发电机组所安装的这么一个地方。那发电机组那个拿掉之后呢，它其实就留下了一个这样的一个方形的这个坑，所以说这个坑不是后来挖的。那我觉得这一排过去这个坑特别有意思，所以说我就把这个方形的这个下陷的这个地方，我就作为 展示老产品的一个地方。对，把这些老的产品放进去之后呢，我还觉得挺像出土文物的感觉。对，挖掘现场。对，所以说我觉得这个跟这些老的产品它本身，这样的展示方式跟它老的产品是符合的，是吻合的。对，所以说就有了这么一片展览的区域。
The museum's historic module houses the founder's extensive collection of classic design products dating back to the first Industrial Revolution. Visitors are provided with an abridged history of product design by observing the objects collected, classified, and displayed here. In the contemporary module, you'll find hundreds of award-winning designs, reflecting people's lifestyle and aesthetics from different geographic and cultural background.
在现代馆里面呢，其实是一些当下的一些比较优良的设计的作品。那这个里面包括我的一些收藏，也包括我们自己的一些设计的作品。比如说我们在这边可以看到的这套茶具，名为知足常乐的茶具。那这套茶具呢，它为什么叫知足常乐？它本身其实那个品牌，它其实是全球做锡器最大的一个品牌。委托我们做这个茶具的时候，我们就希望，因为锡它很容易塑造形体，但是呢，它也比较软，所以说在这个茶具里面，我们就用到了竹子的部分。比如说这是其中的茶壶，那在它的底部和它的把手，我们都用到了竹子和这个锡去结合。那主要的原因是为了让它防烫以及防撞，因为是比较软，那么竹子它可以直接接触地面，包括把手上面我们可以直接这样拿的，不是很烫。同时表面的这种纹理，我们也是来源于竹的那种纵香的纤维，但是最重要的是，它可以让我们手触摸上去的这个感觉会更加的温和。
Over the past 20 years, Yang's been persistent in creating the perfect user experience. He specifically designates the future module, aka the CMF lab, studying the color, material, and finishing of various products to explore new methodologies and forecast new trends in the field of industrial design.
对于产品设计来说，对于工业设计来说，任何一种材料，我们看到这么多的材料，任何一种材料的创新和突破，其实都会改变到我们的生活。所以在这一块，我们称之为未来馆。它的原因是，我们把这个材料这么多的材料，的一个实验室称之为未来馆的原因是我们在这边可以去看到未来的趋势。在这边我们可以去看到各种各样不同的材料的处理方式。然后有最新的材料会源源不断的送到这边，那我们的设计师就会去从中去获得很多的灵感，然后去对于我们的设计、我们的产品去做出创新。
Yang is among the few Shanghai-based industrial designers who has garnered international recognition. With creative and inspiring exhibits and research projects, the Yang Design Museum is dedicated to educating people here in the city about the history of Chinese and Western industrial design. More importantly, inspiring young professionals with clues leading to the future of Chinese industrial design. It's all about speed and energy at this year's ASR Cup. The club invites drivers and fans from all across the country, featuring a blend of expats and locals ready to put the pedal to the metal. Their charity match is an annual event raising funds for Shanghai's Heart to Heart Foundation, helping children with congenital heart defects. So for this year's race, they chose the theme life-saving, life-challenging, life-enhancing.
I see you changed the back, huh? How shot?
Well, one great thing about my method is that it's fast, easy, and convenient.
Right. Well, if I ever want my sofa moved out, I'll give you a call.
Hey, with my method, you can move anything and convert anything in no time.
Right. Good to know. And I think it is time to end today's show.
Oh, right, of course. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye.
Hello, and Hello. Hello, welcome to this week, right? Hello, welcome to this week's Flinders Street Station into a train station. Oh.
Excuse me.
How many dashes are you going to say?
By the way, what's my line? Moving things back and forth. Is there anything to do with today's topic? 3, 2. 哎，我们俩是不是做的太分开了 ？OK 的吗 ？OK。
So, what do you think?
So, what do you think of that ice town? So what? Sorry, my line. How? Welcome back. I was thinking there's one more line. 好来啦 ，3, 2, 1.
On that, oh no, space. I'm converting that space. Too much work. But.
3, 2, 1.